sort of moving on to your career a little bit, what's been your crowning achievement so far?
In retrovision or?
In your career, in general, sort of.
I think it's the amount of change I can absorb and work through to the business, work through with the business to get them from a given point, which is usually pretty messy, to a very competitive, sturdy, process-driven, methodology-based environments.
Okay. And what advice would you give to aspiring CIOs?
Don't. No. Just like any other job, it's a succession. You come from somewhere to get somewhere, and there are certain rules, skills that are mandatory, and you have to bed them down. Liaise with other CEOs, interact as much as you can, get a mentor if you can find one, stay close to business. Technology is not it. It's a tool. Get some business experience and business involvement very, very early.
Okay. You talk about the business there. What changes have you witnessed over your career in the perception of IT by business?
I've always found it to be fairly acrimonious in the beginning. It takes a lot of hard work to change the perception of IT and to make it relevant to the business and not just a cost centre. Yes, we do cost money. Yes, we do spend money, but we need to give a return for that money, and we need to show that there is value for that investment, both at the beginning, when you're starting off projects, in the middle, when you're implementing them, which is a lot about communication and visibility and governance and all those types of things, and at the end, where business actually gets what they were promised right in the beginning. So my projects never actually stop when the application goes live. It's about what the business gets from that and how are they using it. Sure. So there is a whole lot of training and communication and interaction with store users, and how head office uses the same application is not the same as a store owner would want to use. The types of reports they want are not the same. So it's really about staying out there and giving visibility to the solutions and to IT.
I suppose sort of taking Retrovision out of the picture at the moment, I understand you outsource a lot here at Retrovision, but for you personally, outsource or in-house?
Outsource.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you do it right, with the right people, with the right contracts and the right service levels and the right back-to-back contracts, and there is nothing left to chance, it's the only way to go.
I suppose that's where people and companies have got in trouble with outsourcing, isn't it? Without the SLAs in place.
Because you can outsource something, but you don't give up the responsibility for managing it either.
Sure.
And I think in the early days of outsourcing, that's where a lot of companies have come a cropper. And
so outsource the production and in-house management.
Whatever you outsource, it's still your responsibility to deliver the internal service to the business. It's not the outsourcers.
Sure.
So, the buck still stops with the internal resources as far as the business is concerned.
Okay.
And as CIO, you'd be head of that tree, at the top of that tree, and that's where the buck stops.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of technology that's out there, once again, sort of moving outside of Retrovision, I'd just like to get your personal opinion. The cloud seems to be the direction that the world's heading in terms of computing in both business and personal. What are your views? Is the cloud really the future?
It is, but it's fraught with danger, like anything. You really need to know what you're going to get out of it, why you're doing it, who's doing it. It's not a one-stop shop that people make it out to be. But before you even get there, you need to position yourself and your business in a way that allows that step to happen easily. You can't go from an in-house, in my view, you can't go from an in-house operation to a cloud operation without having done all the pain, such as virtualization, for example.
Sure.
So the way we've done it is we consolidated 5 data centers into one, reduced the number of applications, reduced the number of servers, while still supporting the business. And then it came down to virtualization. Now we virtualized. The next step is just a heartbeat away, if that's what we want to do.
Yeah, sure.
So that you've got to be very, very careful about it, and it's not going to be everything. It's not going to be the same thing to everyone. It's going to mean, what do I want out of it? What can I realistically get out of a cloud, and what can't I do with that? Every company, every business I know will still have in-house applications that cannot go into a cloud.
Yeah, sure.
So how do you... So there is a bridge,
Okay.
and a fair bit of technology and analysis and design and agreements and stuff that needs to go in.
Do you agree with the sort of view of the Googles out there that want every single person in the cloud, even at home? Do you think there's a day where we don't have a personal computer?
No. I think it's probably going to propagate. If it's not a personal computer, it's going to be a portable device.
Sure.
So I think the dependency on cloud and the availability of cloud, especially at user level, individual level, is going to grow, and it's already there now.
Yeah.
I think it's how business transacts into the cloud that's going to be very interesting. And there's a lot of issues to be resolved also around data ownership. Where does it live? Who owns it? If I give it to you and it lives in Kansas and I'm in Melbourne,
Which privacy laws are...
what privacy laws apply? So there's a lot of stuff to be sorted out along that, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And you don't want to end up in the same spot as Distribute IT. Only a couple of weeks ago when 4,800 of their people lost all their business data.
Yeah, exactly. That was a nightmare, wasn't it?
Well, it's slack,
Yeah.
to put it mildly.
Yeah.
It shouldn't happen.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's going back to my initial comment about you have your core, technical, non-negotiable fundamentals that you have to get right wherever you go, whatever level you're at.
Yeah.
Backup, recovery, disaster, all that sort of stuff is effectively one of those non-negotiables.
Yeah. I suppose you can, as a business, you can be quite upset that Distribute IT had that problem, but as a business you should have had...
Yeah, and that's again what I'm saying. By outsourcing, you don't give up your responsibility for making sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Yeah.